service today. The sun's out, the pavement's warm, and that low rumble of a Harley rolling by? Oh yeah, that's calling your name. This is riding season, and if you've been thinking about a new ride, Harley-Davidson of Edmonton has the one that'll get your heart pumping. With a huge selection of new and pre-owned bikes, there's one waiting for you, whether you're upgrading or just getting started. And while you're there, ask about test rides, because the only way to know is to ride it. For more details, visit Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated since 1980, or at hdedmonton.com.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your picks. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
Camping on a long weekend without a Toyota Tacoma can feel crowded. But when you get a Tacoma during Red Tag Days, you can take advantage of its powerful iForce engine and rugged capability to find a better site. Take advantage of Red Tag Days on now. Lease a 2026 Tacoma 4x4 Double Cab SR5 from $110 weekly for 60 months at 5.49% APR with $6,899 down. Hybrid available. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
You haven't set your lineup yet, right? It's Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
It's 11:01. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here on Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online at willhawkbeefjerky.com. Go pay him a visit. Only available in Leduc. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Hope you guys had a fantastic long weekend. Rejuvenated, ready to go here. Watch some great sports. Lots to get to on the program. Of course, you can always text us, 1-833-401-1440. Send us an email, Connor at sports1440.ca, Brandon at sports1440.ca. Or if you want to chat live, you can also go to YouTube, Sports 1440 AM. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. But I think YouTube is the best route for the conversation. Hello to Frank in the chat. Where do we even begin here, Duke? Probably in the NHL, because last night the Montreal Canadiens go into Buffalo and probably couldn't have had a better start to the game. They get up 2-0 in the first period. Paul Duke, Dano with the goals. The Buffalo Sabres, they're pesky. They chip away. Jordan Greenway cut the lead in half, and then in the third period, Rasmus Dahlin scores his 4th of the postseason to send it to overtime. There was some controversy there. Goalies getting hit. Early whistles, perhaps. Pucks being rustled out. But in overtime, Alex Newhook. Terry Ryan's, I think, favorite player in the NHL, and it has been this way for a while because of their connection to Newfoundland, scores his 7th goal this season. It had to be him to push the Montreal Canadiens back to the Eastern Conference Final, taking on the Carolina Hurricanes, who have been off forever, well-rested, ready to go. I'm very intrigued by that first game to see how these two teams come out of the gate. Montreal, there could be some fatigue, but I think they'll be pretty juiced. Carolina Hurricanes feel like they might be a slow start, but they'll be ready to go. It's going to be fun to see. I said back to the Eastern Conference Final, when they went to the Cup Final in the bubble.
It wasn't really bubble-ish. I guess there were bubble elements, I suppose, but that was just
the big bubble.
That was just the COVID shortened season, I believe, was its official designation, right?
Yeah. So they went through the Canadian division, right?
That's right. And then they played the winner of what was, I think, the Honda division, which was the Vegas Golden Knights that year. And because they didn't call them conference finals, they just called them semifinals.
Yeah. So I guess not. Well, they've been to many Eastern Conference Finals in their time.
That they have, yeah.
But that was not, I guess, the route they took. Yeah, it was after Edmonton fell to Winnipeg in 4 straight, right? Montreal beat Toronto in 7, then swept Winnipeg, then beat the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, 4-2. It was all over the place here, and then fell to the eventual winners in the Tampa Bay Lightning. But they're back. Duke, what did you make of that game, that series, and the Montreal Canadiens, who just, I don't know who would have seen this coming. Certainly not Maple Leafs brass. But now they're 4 games away from getting back to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, really impressed with the Canadiens. And if for no other reason than their ability to bounce back from losses, right? And for most of the series until game number 6, the way the Sabres had won games were all very close. Tight, and then when the Habs would win, it was kind of by a little bit more open fashion, at least a few goals, a margin of victory every time. And like Jakub Dobeš, he goes toe-to-toe with Vasilevsky in the first round, comes out victorious in the 7-game set. Very impressive. Then in this series, he very clearly outplays both Buffalo goaltenders. Now, each Alex Lyon and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen had their moments, but I mean, Dobeš, was in. Then he got the relief yank at the end of game 6. That's fine, but otherwise, he's in there for every minute of every game. Played very well. He was much more so the busier goaltender here in game 7. I thought Luukkonen played fine. He came up with a couple of huge stops, especially when the deficit's still 2-0 and face a couple breakaways. Full credit to him. But then at the end of the day, it comes down to a bad turnover at your own blue line by your arguably best player, certainly your best defenseman, Norris Trophy finalist. And then on the conversion, the transition back to the way, a shot that kind of a knuckle puck through a little bit of a screen, but realistically one that you probably want stopped by your goaltender. Mm-hmm. And Luukkonen himself was clearly frustrated, throwing his helmet down the hallway before the handshake line. You feel for him on a personal level. Sabres are a good team, and I fully expect them to continue to be a force in the Eastern Conference for probably several years to come. But this young Habs club has fully arrived, and they're playing a little bit, I think, with lightning in a bottle when you look at the way Dobeš has played and the history of rookie goaltenders and playoff runs with this historic franchise. But they're also kind of doing it without a ton of contribution from their top players, right? Caulfield, Slafkovsky, Suzuki, Demidov. Their numbers don't jump off the page at you from an offensive contribution point in this series. Now, Suzuki touches the game in a lot of other facets, but when you guys like Josh Anderson, Alex Newhook, Bolduc, Texier, whomever else down your lineup contributing in the way they did, you really have to tip your cap and say they can win a 7-game series without your best players being your best players. That's usually the sign of a pretty good team. And I think the Habs are certainly that as of right now.
Yeah. I mean, Suzuki production-wise, 13 points in 14 games, not bad.
He's doing just fine.
But yeah. you look at the top guys and just Suzuki, -5, Slafkovsky, -8, Caulfield, -7.
Mm-hmm. Because the 5-on-5 production is what's really been absent for that group of top offensive players.
100%. But on the flip side, Jake Evans, +9. Not too shabby. Yeah, so they've been a fun team to watch for sure. Man, you go back to that Dobeš draft. I don't want to say it, Duke. I don't want to bring it back to Edmonton. But,
come on, Connor, do it.
Tyler Tullio, Carter Savoy, and Dylan Holloway were the Oilers selected ahead of him. He was a 5th-round pick. Not people didn't see
clearly
him.
Wasn't on a ton of radars.
Yeah, exactly. And the Montreal Canadiens have some nice prospects there between the pipes. Of course, before that, you're going to have Colorado and Vegas. That should be a lot of fun. The playoffs are setting up great. The NBA, I will say, I don't know how the game tonight is going to compare to yesterday's fun with the Spurs and the Thunder, but you got the Knicks and the Cavs. It's a great time in the sporting world. Let's get some text here at 1-833-401-1440. Gents, from Hearts to Norrises to having to pay draft picks for GMs and having the rules changed immediately after, having predatory offer sheets to their 2 young prospects, to teams going out of their way to withhold a coach like never before. The Oilers get treated harsher and worse by media and other organizations. It's so in your face, and I'm not sure why. Vegas is going to do this until the Boilers hire someone else. The media part, I'm interested. I mean, hey, the Oilers do take a lot of flack, but when you don't win a Stanley Cup with McDavid and Draisaitl, that's going to happen. There's some weird things that have happened to this Oilers team in the past. Compensation for players or coaches or GMs who have no longer been a part of an organization. I don't understand. I would agree with you on that one. Vegas, yeah. Vegas appealed. Carrie has mentioned that earlier today. The NHL said, no, we don't care. Like, that's how it should be. The decision was made. If the NHL were to go back on the decision that they made to fine the team, well, the head coach $100,000 and then a second round pick in the NHL entry draft, you just look soft. Like you look like you have no backbone. You made that decision. You got to stick with it. And I'm glad that they got a little bit of pushback from the league. Ontario Mom says also that Montreal showing the Oilers that you could give the young guys in the system a shot and just see if they can catch some lightning in a bottle. But who for the Oilers would this be? Bo Akey? Ike Howard? Like who are the young guys you want to give a shot? Connor Unger? I think that's the one that people would be talking about as well. Kenneth says Vegas didn't let the Kings talk to Cassidy either. Oilers' entire team is number one overall lottery picks. There's no conspiracy. Well,
listen,
there's 2 right now.
They're still kicking around.
But I mean, like for the Oilers roster, it's McDavid and Nuge, right?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, but that doesn't mean that they didn't pick first overall 4 times in 5 years, 6 years.
100%. It happened, but the entire team, if we're getting into specifics,
and like
it's 2 players. Right
the original message there about like I do think that that's a little like where were everyone's complaints about how the league treats the Oilers the last 2 years when they went to Stanley Cup Finals.
Mm-hmm.
They get quieted pretty quickly. It's just natural that when things don't go your way, you want to blame somebody, and it rarely ends up being the actual guilty culprit, which is the Oilers and the way they've ran their organization. Like, and some things have just been bad luck and maybe unfair. For sure, when you talk about some of the compensatory draft picks they've had to give up, and you can run down the list. But I'm sorry. The NHL does not have a vendetta against the Edmonton Oilers. Full stop. And anybody that believes that, you're just playing a little bit of victim card and feeling sorry for yourself.
I don't think that's the case. I was just reading a text.
I know. I know you were, but I'm speaking to that. The
validity would be the compensation for teams that have been like fired. I agree. And yeah, like this isn't just an Edmonton thing. This is Vegas doing what Vegas does, especially when it comes to Bruce Cassidy. People are asking, is there anything he can do to get out of his contract?
We asked Frank Saravalli that this morning, and the gist of it being, we don't know because we don't have the exact language of the contract that he signed to be the head coach. Now, as Frank pointed, you can go back and listen to that conversation to get the words right from his mouth on YouTube or podcast form from Carey Show Hour 2. Is like, is there wording where it says either side of either party can terminate the contract at any given point in time? Well, then in that case, yeah, Bruce Cassidy just say, I opt out. You don't have to pay me anymore, but I'm free to pursue my own interests. Is it has to be a mutual decision where Bruce Cassidy says, I want to opt out. Vegas says, we don't. You're still on the books. You're not going anywhere. Or is it only one side? Only the team can cancel or negate this contract, in which case Bruce Cassidy is just left blowing in the wind for the time being. So without actually having the piece of paper in front of us to read the language specifically, we don't know the answer to that question, was Frank's explanation of it. And it makes sense, right? When you track that out to just outside this little scope of being a hockey coach, that's kind of the way the world in any industry, profession, business. When you sign a contract, you're kind of held to the standard of the language that's in that contract.
Just one funny one. Triple C in a truck bringing up the James Neal prorating his goal total.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That was
right?
bunk too.
There are examples of like
he didn't play. You didn't have him in the lineup. That's not good. Like, it's not like he just went on a cold streak and intentionally didn't score goals. He couldn't play, and you prorated.
Prorated out. Yeah. Hey, I'm not saying that was right or that was fair, but do we think that that's part of some larger conspiracy theory that the league has against Edmonton? No, I don't.
So let me ask you this then, Duke, because I agree that I think a lot of fans around the league could have things and use it as an example. So you've had the compensation for a trade the prorated numbers, compensation for a GM who was fired. What did the Ducks add? Like, if you were thinking in the memory bank, do you have like, they got kind of screwed here? And if there's like anyone out here who's a fan of the Flames or the Jets, the Canucks, if you are, can you provide some examples of your team having those types of circumstances? Because I think some teams definitely could, but the Oilers fans have them locked and loaded, ready to go. I mean, you guys didn't get Crosby, you got Bobby Ryan.
There you go. That's what more example do I need?
Well, I gave you that one. You need another one.
Well, you took it out of my mouth. After that, no, I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't really think about those kind of things because I don't believe them to be true. So if this is, checkmate that I can't come up with any other examples, guilty. I guess I can't. But I think that the 05 draft lottery would serve as the premier example where you've got a team that is on the brink of collapsing financially and moving out. And then all of a sudden you afford them the first generational talent in 10 years or however long you want to call it. I think that would look pretty good on their mantle to keep the team in Pittsburgh. And it proved pretty effective for them, I think.
Go play with Mario. I wasn't trying to like put you on the spot there, although I did. But I'm just thinking that, the Oilers fans have some grief, some things that they would point to. And I'm sure, but I think every fan base could have a couple. Calgary Flames, the puck was in. Like they should have scored against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like you'd have that one to fall back on. If there are any fans of any other teams and you got times, let me know. Because I do think that this is not just an Oilers problem. I think other teams, probably have their examples of things as well. Cat Dad says, what if Vegas doesn't allow Cassidy to talk until they're out of the playoffs? See, I just don't get it. I really don't get it.
What do they gain from that?
Yeah, like there's nothing to be gained because, Cassidy's irrelevant to them right now. It's like you marry a woman, you separate, you find a new girl and you're talking to her, but you forbid your ex to talk to somebody. Like, why do you care? You've moved on. The Vegas Golden Knights have moved on.
Or have you moved on?
Well,
they linger in your memory.
Maybe the feelings linger.
They linger in your heart.
I just don't get it, Duke. It's wild.
I absolutely don't. And at the same time, I say, hey, Vegas is within their rights, I guess. Right or wrong from a moral standpoint, from a logistics standpoint, it doesn't make sense for them to do this, right? Because he would get hired. That is all of our expectation, that the Oilers want to hire him. You do not have to pay him $4.5 million for another year. That seems like a good thing for your organization. But they would rather take the calculated, spiteful approach and say, oh, he's their division rival. We don't want him coaching for them. Hey, it's within their right. I don't agree with it. I think it's silly. I think it's petty, but it's within their right.
Yeah. Why? Because they can. That must be the reasoning with that one. We'll take a break here. When we come back, more of your text, 1-833-401-1440. It's Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
New at Papa John's, the spinach Alfredo chicken tomato pizza. Say it with me now. Spinach Alfredo sauce, grilled chicken, fresh Roma tomatoes, all on our fresh, never frozen pizza dough. 4 favorites, 1 pizza. So let's run it back. The spinach Alfredo chicken tomato pizza. Right now, a large for just $18.99. Delivery or carry out. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. No one's ever accused car shopping to be fun. I mean, think about it. Awkward standoffs to get a price. Let me go talk to my manager. Dealers asking for your credit card, then melting your phone if you say no. See, not fun. At Northgate, I promise you a different experience. We make it fun. and you will like us. I promise. 0% financing, a great selection of new and pre-owned units. So for some fun, stop in today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Albertans love to tailgate before the big game.
Gotta have burgers.
Hot dogs, obviously.
You're both missing out. Wilhauk beef jerky is the real MVP.
When it comes to tailgate snacks, there's only one unanimous pick.
Wilhauk beef jerky.
No barbecue required. Wilhauk is ready to eat before we head to our seats.
Bring it to your next football tailgate.
Wilhauk beef jerky, because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
What's that? Is that actually spring? Like no snow squalls or bad weather tomorrow? It's actually spring? Well, GS Construction welcomes the warmer weather because that means we can really get to work. Now, it doesn't matter if there was bad weather. This is our time to shine. But we can't do it without good people to do that work. That's why GS Construction is hiring pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. If you want to join a team who loves their work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
From the first pitch to the final out, catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball. Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV, and I want to give you something for free. A free roof assessment on your used RV. And remember, basically every RV is a used RV.
What do I get for my free roof assessment, Rick?
Well, Bob, we're going to climb up on top of your RV and take a good detailed look at your roof. Check all the joints, connections, and seals. Then we'll give you a written report so you know exactly what's going on up there. You should do this at least twice a year.
You're just doing this out of the goodness of your heart, Rick?
Cards on the table, Bob. About 1 in 10 RVs we see have something wrong with the roof. If yours is one of them, then yes, we're going to offer to sell you a repair. But we'd rather do a small repair when your leak is small than sell you a big, expensive repair when it's so bad you can see it from the inside. And you don't have to accept our offer to fix it. It really is free either way. So come by Noble RV and know for sure.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Get the inside scoop for your team on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
.24, welcome back. It's Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. We're back at it after a long weekend. I don't know how many of you guys went down to Spruce Grove yesterday to check out the Elks fan day. It was awesome. Now, there was a tough time getting parking, but that's just because how many people were there to go check it out. It was a really cool event and a lot of kids out there getting a chance to meet the players. Duke, it was funny because after they practiced, they got hot dogs and then they were looking for places to go sit. So like we were leaving and some of the players were just like kind of finding a spot outside to sit down and have a hot dog. So, if you were there and you wanted to go chat with some of the players, that would have been a great opportunity. Next year, we also even have our plan for it. Actually, like we got to get there early. We got to get a hot dog. We got to get in on all the fun stuff there. So definitely really cool if you were down there. I'm sure you had a good time and can't wait to do it again next year, but lots in between, lots of football games to get out to before that happens. This segment for elksnation.ca, two-weekly podcast with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth double E football coverage you're going to find. elksnation.ca, articles, videos, podcasts, and more. Text lines 1-833-401-1440. Quickly, Duke, what did you do over the long weekend? Is the leg okay? Could you go golf or anything?
No.
Oh.
It's funny you say that. I went back to the farm on Saturday. I was in here doing the Triple S with Mac on Saturday morning, then stuck around since Josh was out of town and helped Paul Sir with Hoop City. Had some fun doing that for a few hours, talked some basketball. It's great. Then I headed down to the farm thinking, all right, I talked to my sister. They need some help with this and that. And I'm planning on just kind of sitting in the cab of a manure truck to clean some corrals and whatnot. And it's an automatic, so I wouldn't even have to need a clutch. My left leg is the one that's banged up. I wouldn't even have to operate a clutch. So, all right, this is fine. I can manage. Didn't really work out that way as I ended up stopping into the field, helped work on the air seeder for a little bit, crawling around in the dirt, trying to contort myself to put pieces back together. Big mistake, was very painful. And the after effect on my leg was kind of more so felt. So that was fine. But to your point about the golfing, when I was leaving on Sunday afternoon, my dad and I just got back from moving some seed trucks around. He said, so what else are you going to do this weekend? You going to go golfing or something? I said, Dad, you've watched me hobble around this place for the last 2 days. I can barely walk. You think I'm going golfing? He says, well, I don't know. And anyway, he was off to go get another load of fertilizer, and I hoisted myself into my truck and drove 2 hours back to Edmonton to sit on the couch and put a bag of ice on my knee for essentially another 24 straight hours. So it's still very sore. I went to the doctor on Friday, got ordered for some imaging and whatnot, but nothing really new to report on other than the fact that it's just as sore now as it was last Thursday because of me aggravating it and probably doing a little too much on it over the course of the weekend.
Man, it's a long road to recovery, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. Depending on the actual diagnosis and then what route I may go to remedy it. But I'm not looking forward to it really in any capacity. So be it.
Is what it is. You'll get there.
Thanks.
I just got an email.
Really?
The Jays game is being changed on June 12th to a 5:30 start when they play the Yankees. I don't know when that game was originally going to be, but now it's going to be at 5:30 our time. Okay. So maybe it was going to start at 5. Maybe they bumped it back 30 minutes. Mark your schedule. It's 3.5 weeks away. A lot of text rolling in here. 1-833-401-1440. Jane Victoria says, I don't really know what the issue is about Vegas holding out permission. They're paying him, so he can do what he's told. 100%. And that's kind of what Brandon said at the end. Like, they have the right to do that. Are the Oilers considering offering Calgary and a second-round pick to speak to Cassidy? It always costs a second-round pick to Calgary, doesn't it? Maybe that's the key. 1-833-401-1440. Big Rig says, not getting a first overall pick, even though having the best odds multiple times. Canucks, a chance. We're talking about how other teams could get kind of the short end of the stick from the league. Yeah, I mean, hey, I kind of thought McKenna to Vancouver would have been cool. It would have been a cool landing spot for him to try to turn that thing around.
But Toronto's way better, Connor.
But Toronto is better, yeah.
Which just goes to show that the league loves Toronto but hates Edmonton.
And Vancouver.
It's not like, the Oilers got Connor McDavid despite not having the best odds.
Well, hey.
Guess what? That's why it's a lottery. Anything.
The balls don't always bounce the way you want them to.
Yeah, we talked about the Ducks not getting Sidney Crosby. They also had the best odds to get Connor Bedard, and they didn't.
I mean, it worked out okay for you guys.
Well, both cases. I mean, hey, he's not Sidney Crosby. He's Sidney Crosby, generational, probably Mount Rushmore type player for the history of the league. Bobby Ryan scored 30 goals for like 7 straight years in Anaheim. Pretty good player.
He was a very good player. He was not Sidney Crosby, but who
No,
is?
he was not. Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem. It was Sidney Crosby. What, 4 assists yesterday?
Pretty good.
His revenge on Denmark?
Including one just vintage one, too. I can't remember who scored the goal. But it was when Crosby was like just doing the spin-off thing he does in the corner, just off checks, and then perfectly placed pass and just makes it easy on his teammates. What did you make anything or have any really thoughts on the like? So they announced Celebrini as the team captain, youngest in history for the national team, and then just like a day, 2 days later, they announced, hey, Sid Crosby's also joining the team, and the discussion comes up of, well, does Celebrini now give the C to Crosby? And the reports are it was a team meeting, all the players, everyone, and they said, no, we're good with leaving it on the young kid. Sid, of course, there in a complimentary role to help him out, find his footing on this stuff. So did you like that decision by the team, by the program, Connor?
I'll tell you what. No, I didn't.
Really?
No, because Sid should always be given the captaincy. But this is, I'll role play by myself here. I feel like...
Ooh, fancy frenzy. Theater in the park.
If you want to be, you can be Celebrini.
Okay.
Young Celebrini. And I'm sure Sidney walked into the room. And what do you think Macklin said?
Oh, here you go. Here you go, Sid. Mr. Crosby.
Macklin.
Have the C off my jersey.
Macklin, baby, I said call me Sid. I don't want it. That is yours. You keep it. And I feel like that's just how it went. They say team meeting. I feel like it was Sid like, nope, it's okay. You keep it. Because he's Sid. He's such a good guy. If he's okay with it, I'm okay with it. But my initial thought, Duke, was that you got to give the C to Sid.
So let me extrapolate on this and kind of forecast moving forward. We're going to have the World Cup of Hockey again in 2028. Is Sidney Crosby wearing the C for Team Canada at that event?
Yes. I think so. I mean, if it wasn't Sid, I don't think it's going to Macklin Celebrini.
No. My expectation would be that like Connor McDavid would wear it.
I don't think the leadership group changes at all, to be honest with you. I think it'll be Captain Crosby. Connor McDavid wears the A, as does Cale Makar. I would even take that to the next Olympic Games. But I don't know if Sidney will still be playing in 2030.
That might be stretching it.
He's so dang good. And I feel like, Duke, that I've been guilty of it, and I've tried not to be this way in Edmonton, of taking it for granted watching Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've become that way with Sidney Crosby. Or I'm like, and then, you look back.
You're numb to it a little bit.
Like, this guy's so dang good, and he's been doing it for so long. As long as he wants to do it and feels he can, that's my captain. What do you think?
I could see, man, it's so tough because if we rewind to 2010 in Vancouver, right? The discussion was, is this the time to give the C to Sidney Crosby? And instead, they go with the vet like Scott Niedermayer wears. And that was the last time Sidney Crosby did not wear the C in a Team Canada uniform until this year in Switzerland, right? Like, we're talking 16 years. And he wasn't at an event every year. Pittsburgh often going deep in the playoffs, not at the World Championships, no Olympics a couple times over. You get my point. But that was the conversation then. And as a result, if we're using that same thought process, it tells me that, yeah, Crosby will again wear the C in 2028. And if he's still around and still at the level to make Team Canada in 2030, then yeah, he will wear the captaincy. And as soon as he's not playing, they'll find the next viable candidate, even if it's just for one event at that point, and then so on and so forth. But it's tough to justify taking the letter off when the track record is so sparkling.
Yeah. And there's going to be a time when Macklin Celebrini will be the captain of the national team. I firmly do believe that. But it'll probably come after Connor McDavid's time. And I've always said, for me, what I like of a captain, obviously, I'm not in the room, so I can't say that type of thing. But I want a guy who I trust to be out there in every situation. Game's on the line. You're down by a goal. I want my captain out there. You're up a goal. I want my captain out there. And I still think Sidney Crosby, even at his current age, is still that guy. I mean, he had 29 goals and only played 68 games. I don't know how to prorate that exactly, but I'm going to say 35-ish, pretty dang good. I mean, he's been putting the puck in the back of the net at a pretty good pace the last 5 years since he's been, for the most part, staying healthy. We know he had the injury at the Olympics this year, but that's my guy, Duke. I got to stand by him. But I do like that, even with O'Reilly and Tavares there, they gave the C to Celebrini. Kind of, and he'll be the captain of the Sharks.
Turning of the page a little bit. And the World Championships, it's still a great event, but it's not the Olympics.
No, totally agree.
And so it is almost like a training ground's the wrong word because these are not junior players. There are some young guys without NHL experience that go to play still, right? We're seeing that with Sweden with Viggo Bjork and Ivar Stenberg having great tournaments so far. But it is almost, and we hear so often, like the program uses things like this guy's willingness to take the time to go overseas and play in these events. It factors in a little bit when it comes to picking teams for Olympics or for Nations Face-Off or World Cups. And some think that it might have been a factor about why Connor Bedard did not grab one of the last spots for this year's Olympic team, because he hadn't really shown that willingness to go take the extra step to show dedication to the program. Once again, right or wrong, that's up to you to determine or justify. But it's out there. It's in the ether that these conversations happen.
I agree with you, and I kind of feel like that's part of the reason Evan Bouchard went. Like, he'd
endear himself to the program a little bit.
Yeah, and I think they would understand the last couple of years he hadn't been able to. He'd been going to the Stanley Cup final. Obviously, you're not holding that against someone, but getting the opportunity now to go and represent your country, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all. And that was last year. Now, did Bedard have was there any lingering injuries? Because I don't think there was. I think he just kind of said he wanted to get right.
Yeah. Yeah, like last year, you mean?
Yeah.
I believe that's the case. Sort of like this year, who is it? McKennessey's not going. He didn't want to go to the Worlds to get ready for the Combine. What does that even mean? The NHL Draft Combine?
Mm-hmm. Because he would have had a spot there, hey?
I would have to think he got offered it. Now, I don't know that for sure. And correct, if anyone that knows for sure, you can text me in if it was confirmed by anybody, or at least reported on by a viable source, like an insider, that he was extended the invitation, or if it was just McKenna himself said, I don't have any interest in going. I want to get ready for the Combine.
I did see his Instagram stories of him ripping around on Sea-Doos up in the Yukon.
That's ready, baby. Getting ready for the life in the show.
Training like Rocky in the mountains. Maybe.
That's fine. Like, if he doesn't want to, whether it be, avoid risking injuries, hasn't played a ton of hockey this year compared to even years past, where we know the college schedule is not as condensed, not as lengthy. You don't play as many games as in junior, and especially a junior team that goes all the way to a WHL final. The Tigers go to the Mem Cup last year. Yeah, they did, right? In Saginaw.
They should have been hosting this year, too.
Yeah.
Tell you what.
That would have been cool.
Maybe McKenna stays.
Maybe.
Maybe. I mean,
maybe they give it to him if there was for sure knew he was going to stay.
Yeah, true. Cologne is beautiful. It'll be a great spot for it.
You heading out? Go take it in this weekend?
No, I can't afford it. Are you?
No, I'm not mobile enough.
We just can't do it. It's not functional. But I will say this, like, Duke, if you, let's say little Benny becomes a really good hockey player and he's going to projected to be the first overall pick, and he has an opportunity to go play at a world championship with Macklin Celebrini, who's now 38. I'd be like, don't worry about your training. Don't worry about the Combine. Go play with these guys. Get that experience. Represent your country. That would be my fatherly advice.
Mm-hmm.
Injuries could happen. Injuries could happen anywhere. But like
riding a Sea-Doo.
Like riding a Sea-Doo. But you could potentially...
Just ask Sean Kingston. He had a really bad Sea-Doo accident.
Oh, really?
I think he almost died many years ago.
Oh. Well, we'll dive into that in the break. But, for McKenna to potentially have gone and just hung out with Sidney Crosby for a couple weeks, among all the other great players that are there, I think that would have been could have been beneficial as well. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll crush it at the combine and maybe secure the number 1 overall spot. But MTR says Leafs going to pick Stenberg. Let's trust the Swedish bias.
Well, Sundin's in there. He's an advisor.
That could be it. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll let you know what's coming up in the Lowdown and the Jason Greger Show. It is Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way.
Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhock Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
When my husband and I said until death do us part, I never expected to find myself at the doorstep of divorce. I was facing an uncertain financial future, expensive lawyer bills, and most importantly, I was concerned for the well-being of my kids. My spouse and I turned to Fairway Divorce Solutions for help. Fairway walked us through a step-by-step process, allowing us to develop a clear roadmap to resolve financial concerns and provide a proactive co-parenting strategy. It helped us avoid chaos and courtrooms.
For a no-cost consultation, visit fairwaydivorce.com.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money, with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3, saving you more money with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 Select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 Select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Hear that? That's your entry calling. Go Auto is sending you to the biggest football event in the world, live in Vancouver, with tickets, flights, and a hotel stay for 2. To enter the contest, just text GAME to 780-777-7777. That's GAME to 780 all 7s. Go Auto, get in the game.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
To the person who spends more time prepping than grilling. Hi, your Safeway PA announcer here. Our medium ground chuck burgers come in plain, cheddar, bacon, and our newest seasoning, all dressed. All you need to prepare is the grill, because your job is fire and our job is flavor. And right now, they're only $8.99 a pound. For this and more great summer deals, check our flyer at safeway.ca. Sale ends May 20th. Variety may vary by store.
Is your business ready to grow? Not sure how? We have your solution. We
our Stingray. Whether your customers are around the corner or across the country, Stingray connects you with radio to digital advertising, including connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out of home. From idea to execution, we've got you covered. With creative and production, cross-platform integration, detailed reporting, and one-on-one support, it's the easy way to make your business grow. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
Every coach needs a game plan. Plan your fantasy frenzy with Halley and Douglas right here on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
$11:45. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here. The show brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Did you know the sourdough raft race is back? 67th annual. Sunday, August 9th down at Terwilliger Park. You can set sail down the North Saskatchewan on a raft of your choice. Paddleboard, canoe, build your own. Whatever will stay afloat. Teams competing for Admiral's Choice, Most Innovative Craft, Best First Time Entry in the Titanic Award to win cash for the charity of their choice. We talked about this last year. The entry fee, just $10 a person. You also get a pancake breakfast, a shirt, a souvenir glass mug. Go to sports1440.com for all the information. You also get a barbecue for the participants. So kind of a really good deal. $10. You're raising money for a good cause. You get breakfast and a barbecue and a mug and a shirt. That ain't bad. Sports1440.com for more information. Coming up next, I don't know how buoyant they are, but you got the lowdown with Low Tide and Declan Kruger. Today on the show, they might have Gregor on. Long weekend, he usually joins on Monday, so LT said they might have Gregor, but they'll also have Donovan Paulson in studio. Going to look at some Edmonton Oilers head coaching candidates. They'll also discuss the Montreal Canadiens' big win. I'll be noon till 2 with Alan Mitchell and Declan Kruger. Josh Fenwick there as well. Then from 2 to 6, it is the Jason Gregor Show. Should be a lot of fun today. Kevin Woodley, since we missed him yesterday, will join us today. Take a look around the Stanley Cup playoffs, conference finals, the goaltending matchups. Interesting, fatigue. How much of an impact will it play out east? We'll also be joined by Terry Ryan, former Montreal Canadian first-round pick. He's fired up right now. Dave McCarthy. We've got Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. Chris Morris, the Edmonton Elks president, will join us, I believe, in studio for a couple segments at the 4 o'clock hour. I will have spec, 5 questions, DVD, and more. So make sure you join us today. Then we got Blue Jays baseball as well, Duke. And the Toronto Blue Jays, well, Vlad hit a home run over the weekend. That's a plus. They need to start picking up wins. They got the Yankees, Dylan Cease on the mound. For the Jays, Will Warren, 5-1 on the season for the Pinstripes. How are you feeling about the Jays, Duke? Because a couple of years ago, you were optimistic. Last year, you were right. This year, just can't seem to get it going.
Yeah, it's kind of like in spurts, right? Where they'll get stretches of some really solid pitching, and the bats are ice cold, and then vice versa. Bats coming alive a little bit, and yesterday in rally form, which was encouraging, but then Yariel Rodriguez comes in and gives up two-shot home runs, and all of a sudden you're trailing again. And they find a way to make it close in 9, but come up short in the grand scheme. So it's frustrating, and that's the nature of baseball. Like, you're not going to win every day. If you can win 2 out of every 3, then you're in a pretty good spot. But a tough opponent here, obviously, with the Yankees. And Kevin mentioned this right before leaving. Garrett Cole might be making his season debut for for the Yankees today, coming back off of injury. So that'd be a big boost to them, and certainly a tough matchup for the Blue Jays. But they got their ace going in Dylan Cease. These games always seem to mean a little bit more to both sides, especially now after their playoff battle last fall. I'm looking forward to the next few days down in the Bronx. But yeah, the Jays, they just got to find a way to string wins together more. They took 2 or 3 off Detroit over the weekend. That's a good start. Getting a split here, I think, in New York would be considered a success.
We'll have that one for you here on Sports 1440 AM feed only. If you are streaming, you'll get Fox Sports Radio. Ontario Momes had texted in, if 97 didn't give the captain back to Sid, he would have gotten ripped about it in the media. That's another oil bias, whether you guys like it or not.
What do you mean give it back? Was Connor McDavid named captain of Team Canada?
The big thing there, Ontario Momes, is if. It didn't happen. So we're just making up a scenario. I mean,
you're telling if Sidney Crosby gets traded to the Colorado Avalanche and Gabe Landeskog doesn't give him the C, he'll get ripped. Come on.
I'm very aware.
Sidney Crosby was the captain of that team, and there was some conversations about whether or not McDavid should be named it, but he wasn't. And asked about it, he said, yeah, no doubt. Sid's the captain. He's the legend.
Didn't he just say...
It was a non-story.
Didn't he say just keeping it warm for him or something?
I think that's what Crosby said, right?
I thought McDavid said it about that. He said, hopefully just borrowing it, keeping the sea warm for him.
In what,
That was in the Olympics when he wore it.
Oh, like when Crosby was hurt.
Yeah. Well, hoping he'd come back. But I think Ontario was just saying if this was McDavid instead of Celebrini. We also have to realize, Duke, we've talked about this before, the circle of pro sports. Right now, Celebrini is at his part where everyone loves him.
Yeah.
McDavid was there too. But now McDavid has been to 2 Stanley Cup finals. He's thrown some elbows. People dislike him. He's at that point
because he's had success.
Yeah, he still gets some of the hatred here. So there are different at points of their career. Right now, Macklin Celebrini is he's the apple of our eye.
He's the golden boy, right?
We love him.
Wide eyes, full heart, can't lose. Like that. That's where Celebrini's at in his career trajectory, and all the power to him. When the Sharks, or if the Sharks meet the Oilers or any other team for that matter in a playoff series each of the next couple of years, guess what? They're going to start to draw some ire of other teams because they get good. That is that. You and I have talked about it 100 times, Connor. The Mahomes and Andy Reid, Kansas City Chiefs. They come onto the scene. They take down the big bad Patriots. They're the new kids on the block. They're having success. They're fun. They're high flying. Oh my God, they're winning too much. I hate these guys. Everyone loves them. They get so much favoritism from the league. Maybe they're just good.
It was like that too when the Patriots came onto the scene. Yeah. Take down the greatest show on turf. We love them. Well, now you're winning too much and we hate you. It's just the rotation. It's the way it goes. The more they play, the more they'll be disliked and the more criticism you'll see online. Sharks fans are already getting it online. A lot of hockey fans calling them soft. You can't even look at Celebrini the wrong way. Also, the PWHL announcing that they're going to expand to California with the San Jose franchise. That's cool. So it's set 12 teams next year in the PWHL. Very curious to see, because I remember this with the WHL, people talking about the talent pool getting spread too far. Curious to see how it plays out in the PWHL. Last night, Ottawa, big win at home. Hey, Duke, keeping that series going. Montreal took the first 2, but Ottawa won last night 2-1 to extend the series just a little bit longer because it is a best of 5. 1-833-401-1440 is the text line. Momes is correct. Not a peep on Celebrini. McDavid would have got ripped for not giving up the captaincy. Yeah, but we're saying if.
Are you so sure about that?
We're making up a situation here.
If McDavid was on the team before, and Crosby's not on the roster, and they announced it, Team Canada had to be aware of this, right? They say, we're kind of hoping Sid might still show up, but we want to announce this is our leadership group, that Macklin Celebrini wear the C. I'd be very surprised to learn that it was completely out of the blue that after they announce him as the captain, Sid Crosby calls him up and says, actually, you know what? I do want to come play. Give me that. Right? Come on. Because Connor is on Edmonton. Well, Drew, I'm sorry. We're clearly not seeing eye to eye on this. That's fine. We don't have to agree on everything or anything. But I just think you're you're looking at this through your blue and orange colored glasses a little bit here. If McDavid had been named to the team from the onset, they announced him as the captain, and then however many days later, Sid Crosby's added to the roster, and this is the exact same process of they had a team meeting, conversation was had, Sid is comfortable with it, Crosby's going to wear, or McDavid's going to wear the C. Where would this uproar be coming from besides these imagined foes in your own head? I just don't think it would be that case. I think we'd be having the exact same conversation.
The good news is Sidney Crosby's not going to change in any manner. He's still probably going to be the leader in the room and on the ice, but it's a fun storyline. And I will say, like, my first thought was it is wrong. Crosby should always get the C. But then, you be realistic about it. I'm sure there was a discussion, and hey, we kind of had the situation in Edmonton, and when at the Olympic Games, and I thought Connor McDavid handled it perfectly. Got no flack. Everybody was like, yeah, he's just keeping it warm. He's aware. But guys, we can't be talking about fiction and then like getting mad about it. If it happens, that's fine. I will say, Duke, I'm very weary of this because as a Chargers fan, my quarterback has been nicknamed If Man by the haters.
He's the If Man.
And we love pointing out when other teams use it now. That's our thing. Anywho.
Now you're the Chargifs.
We'll take our 23-hour break. When we come back on today's programming, you got the Lowdown with Low Tide from noon to 2, followed by the Jason Greger Show. Then on the AM dial, it is Blue Jays Baseball. If you're streaming, you'll have Fox Sports Radio, The Odd Couple. Enjoy it. Thank you guys for joining us today. I really liked the show. It was fun today. Good debate, good discussion. We'll do it again tomorrow. But right now, we're going to get to one final update with the Duke today. Brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Check them out in Leduc or online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Yeah.
Breaking news coming out of the NHL here into the top of the hour. Vancouver Canucks have fired head coach Adam Foote after just one season behind the bench. Foote now part of wholesale changes in Vancouver after they also have hired a new general manager and the Sedin brothers as co-presidents of hockey operations. Off the ice as well, Vegas Golden Knights appealed to have their punishment reduced for breaking media access rules was reportedly denied by the NHL. They will lose a second-round pick in this upcoming draft, and John Tortorella's fine of $100,000 will stand. In the association tonight, Eastern Conference Finals tipping off 6 o'clock scheduled start time between the Knicks and Cavaliers from Madison Square Garden for game number 1. At the IIHF World Championships this morning, Austria defeated Latvia 3-1. Norway blanked Italy 4-0. And still to come this morning, Hungary will play Great Britain while Slovenia will go up against Slovakia. And in the majors today, full slate of games once again, including the Blue Jays continuing their set in the Bronx against the Yankees. First pitch scheduled for just after 5 o'clock with Dylan Cease on the hill for Toronto. You can catch that game right here on Sports 1440, joined in progress at the conclusion of the Jason Greger Show. Elsewhere, Cleveland's in Detroit, Tampa hosting Baltimore. The Mets are up against Washington. Houston plays the Twins. Dodgers are in San Diego, and the nightcap has Seattle Mariners at home against the White Sox. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Brendan.